know poetry dropping when the pen clicks, and poets get it popping with the Pen Clique. You now rock with Queen David, the Pen Clique Prime Minister, out here with my brother Daniel. He's a chubby fat god, and we are the Pen Clique, a poetry podcast where we invite poets from around the world to perform their art, share their stories, and speak their truths. And big ups to our homies doing big things with poetry across the pond. And of course, I'm talking about Henry, the mastermind behind the WORDSWAG podcast out in the United Kingdom. At Pen Clique, we also believe in making dope poetry content to grow the online poetry culture. And that's why we're excited to link up with Henry, because he connects with the vision.
For this international poetry Swapcast, we remixed episodes from season 2 to bring to you a poetry mixtape of moments that hit you in that special Pen Clique way. To start it off, we got critically acclaimed poet, playwright, actor, director, and Pen Clique Day 1, Alex Alpharaoh, with his insightful Threads and Lines segment from the first episode of season 2.
I gave an old poet $5 on the blue line today. Gave him $5 worth of hope, $5 worth of dope, $5 that'll probably go towards a slow needle over a fast noose rope. Gave him $5 worth of smoke inhalation that eases his suicidal contemplation, inhaling that comforting and tingling sensation that eases his addictive yearn, eliminates concern, makes the cold disappear and the fear seem unknown, no longer his own as his eyes roll over and glaze. This ecstasy is but a moment of escape from his trap maze, for he is a rat, scum bum who stinks like old piss and dry cum. His appearance shrieks of poverty slums, but he don't care. His mind escapes hell por un tiempo as his soul struggles to free itself from his corrupted temple, while we, his audience, witness the whole spectacle. He scans the train car to see what his chances are of sparring with us for some spare change, so I, being a poet myself, gave him a $5 hard-earned dollars for this learned street scholar as I studied the fine lines in his face, and I wondered, if the pen is mightier than the sword, why didn't you pen a story where your life takes off and soars? You can do that shit with a worn-out Bic. Instead, he chooses a big lighter to heat up his spoon, while any clean needle from the clinic will do, as he chases dragons to slay him with every stab to his blue line veins. Blue line blues, blue line pains, blue line tragedy, like the man that felt the necessity to jump in front of the blue line train I wrote the other day, but that story is written for another day, cuz this one is about an old poet who spoke easy like at an open mic. His voice was hoarse from a damaged windpipe, with the resonance and melancholy of a downtown night, making them feel like if his soul has a hole from a gunshot wound earned in the botched robbery of 82, which robbed him of his hopes and dreams, replaced him with the ambition a glass pipe seems, together with broken promises, love lost, his existence forgotten. When devils will the blackest sins put on, they fool you into believing that the dusk is but the dawn. See, he is but a pawn that lives on a hit-by-hit basis. This is the life of this basehead, wasted. His talent almost is, and I say almost, but his life is all least. He's a frontal lobe lobotomy away from being a beast. He's pouring out his heart. He's a genuine artiste. The pain of his words echo with each sound that is released, while the other passengers act as if he don't even exist. They just want him to quit his spit, cease his peace, leave in peace. Yo, where the fuck is the MTA police? I bet with a rapper's Jesus piece over his neck, he still wouldn't find his God close to heart, cause he's the one who left now. The only difference between this poet and I is that he crapped out of life one too many times after he last rolled dices. He got the whole shit pie, we just get served slices. Justice can be bought, but he can't afford the inflated prices, so he gave up slowly when he decided not to fight it, as he recited passages about his life and how he got blindsided. But this wasn't Poe's Raven or even Michael Orr, although he was born from a whore. For every hug she almost gave him, that crack pipe needed her more. He spoke about not knowing his real dad and going off to war to provide for his mom, but he didn't, cause he came back fucked up from Vietnam. He carried his whole life on his back in a pack that was dark blue or black, like his lungs from the tar or his heart from the scars that don't heal with meds for pain. His hair is graying, his teeth decaying, but the words he was saying has so much life in him. While his tattered veins course poisonous venom, and his mangled brain fights to stay active with him. See, I only meant to give him $1 too, cause shit, I'm fucking broke. But fuck it, I went ahead and gave him the only 5 instead. As he nodded his head while, God bless you, he quietly said as he passed me by. I swear I heard his inner child cry. And in that moment, I felt my own pain subside. And I thanked the highest source for the gift of being alive. I purchased the memory that night with the only 5 that I owned. As I counted my blessings, I got off on 5th and Spring, wondered about this poet and where else he had been in the place he might call home. I gave an old poet $5 on the blue line today. 5 measly dollars for this breathe easy scholar. Hey, yo, my brother, there is hope in the tomorrow.
Hey, let's go. Alpharaoh, the God, out
sir.
here doing it.
Hell yeah. Blessed to have you again.
Thank you.
Again.
For the second, third, fourth, fifth time, whatever. Because, like, Alex Alpharaoh, like, Pen Clique wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Alex.
Word.
So back in the day, we tried doing this thing called the poetry class, which is like a head-to-head poetry slam.
And again, we didn't try, we did it.
We did it.
did that shit. That shit was lit.
You'll see the video right here. And yeah, like I needed 2 poets to test out the idea of this like head-to-head clash, head-to-head poetry slam. And I knew Alex from Eddie Ghana. Shout out to Eddie Ghana and Sunday Jump Team.
Sunday Jump.
And then
Thank you,
also
Steady.
Through Charles Williams, I needed a second person. So through Charles Williams of the Freedom of Speech Thursdays open mic, he was able to hook me up with Mr. Daniel Hees. That was the first time I met him. And then we did this poetry slam in my mom's garage.
The 3 of us met, and here we are,
Boom.
dog. This is what happened.
Yeah, and even into like developing the Pen Clique show for the first test episodes back in the day. Like we had Alex Alpharaoh, like
he was our first
in
test
his
poet.
kitchen in his apartment. So thank you for blessing us with your art, bro.
Oh man, thank you guys for always including me. I love Pen Clique. I love you, Kuya, and you, Daniel. You guys are so inspirational and a big part of the reason why I feel included in this community. So much love to you guys.
Hey, you're inspirational too,
let's
bro.
go.
Hell yeah,
Out
the professional
here,
poet out here in the building.
it.
How many of y'all poets can say that you make money, your entire living, put food in your mouth, and clothes on the back of your daughter with poetry?
Yeah, word.
Alex can say that shit. What's up?
Slanging poems.
Let's go.
Speaking of slanging poems, let's get into our first bit, Threads and Lines, where we take a look at the poem that you just performed and investigate what are the threads of life experience that forge those lines of poetry. Threads and Lines.
This is all first verse. All first verse. You about to get this work.
Yeah, so one thing that you do, I mean, you from LA, dog, as fuck. So that really comes through in a lot of your work. While doing all of these things, building these big scenes and these empathetic characters, or trying to manifest empathy for these characters, you're still doing something quite poetic. It's still a poem. It still carries like a poem. It still has like a beginning, middle, and an end. It's concise. You could follow it. The one thing I really enjoyed about this, hearing it the first time, and you even say it, right? This poem is about this person. But really, on paper, what this poem is and seems like is a poem about $5, and what $5 means in the context of this reality that you've built for everybody around this world. And again, building this empathetic character. You start the poem with, I gave an old poet $5 on the blue line today. And you end the poem, I gave $5 measly dollars to a speakeasy scholar. So it's like, it is kind of like the intro and the outro of the poem. Literally, it is kind of framing the poem, but it really is more of an emphasis, because you mentioned the blue line, and that metaphor kind of touches and wanes and reinforces the poem. But again, the $5 seems to be what this is about. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, man, because it's about $5. It's about an old man poet. It's about my struggle. It's about the socioeconomic circumstances that people in Los Angeles have to live through. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I wrote this piece as a form of compensation for myself. I was going through a very difficult socioeconomic time in my life when this piece came to be.
As a form of compensation for myself.
As a form of compensation for
Bars
myself.
off the top, bro. Let's
concept,
go.
Though.
And this is like a real story, right?
Yeah, man. I mean,
Like,
shit.
this really happened.
It really happened. I was chilling on the blue line, man, trying to get home from Long Beach all the way to Echo Park. I was couch surfing and I literally had $6 in my pocket, and I was on the phone with my mom's trying to get her to let me borrow $100 so I could get through the incoming week. You know what I mean? And eat, yeah, basically, right? And then this man gets on the train, and what I appreciated about him was that the level of dignity and self-respect that he carried with himself. Forget everything else. Forget that he was struggling, that he was homeless and everything. The fact that he didn't flat out ask anyone for anything, he chose to give us something. He chose to present something to us in a way that wasn't imposing, and it didn't make you feel guilty for either listening or not listening and giving or not giving to him. You know what I mean?
He wasn't begging.
He wasn't begging, bro. And that takes a lot of dignity and a lot of self-respect. So that spoke volumes to me about who this man was, even though that interaction is basically a moment where I just handed him a bill. And handing him a bill, and he said, "God bless you," as he kept walking by. And I don't even remember if we made eye contact. It was just one of those things where it's like, I appreciate the fact that you're doing this, because I'm one circumstance away from that. You know what I'm saying?
And that must have been extra real because he was a poet too.
And he was a poet. And as a poet, I don't think I would have had the courage to do that. You know what I mean? It took a lot of courage to stand up in front of a bunch of strangers.
And we could all do it swagged out. We're looking fresh to death, you know what I'm saying, on the stage and shit.
Man.
But it's another thing to do it.
Like realizing how close we are. Like none of us are really that far from being out on the street. You know, and then and when poetry is when that's your only creative means and outlet to make a living. And out on the street, what does that mean? What does $5 mean to a homeless person versus what does $5 mean to a student, to someone who has a job? What is it's interesting throughout your poem how what $5 means to different people in different situations, how that changes constantly, and that's dope. Like to bring it to the part where you say gave him $5 worth of hope, $5 worth of dope, $5 that'll go towards a slow needle over a fast noose rope. Fire. Dude, and and speaking of, I love how you maintain that tradition of rhyme form in your poetry, because these days, rhyming isn't that popular in spoken word, specifically in the slam scene, because in the early 2000s when hip hop was on the rise and all that, we saw a lot of heavy rhymers in the scene, getting winning national slams with rhymes. Because oftentimes, in slam, I think that's why there was a style shift, because a lot of people are trying to do these multi-syllabic stacks, but then you're burning all this time on style, and you're not getting
getting extra hits
to the substance. You're not getting you're not getting directly to the punch, and you only have 3 minutes in competition. So I think that's why there was a little style shift. That's my hypothesis. But not only do you
Professor Kuya.
Not only do you keep that tradition of rhyme, but not a single word wasted. Every word that you say is means something. You're not trying to set up the next rhyme, or you're not just rhyming for the sake of finishing the previous couplet. Can you tell us how did you get to your current style of poetry and writing?
Well, then let me go to the most recent experience, right? My friend and colleague, Roger G. Smith, who has his solo show on Netflix called Rodney King. Rodney King, check it out, man. I mean,
on that link over there.
Yeah, and he has a piece where, using a lyrical style, he tells a perspective of the events that occurred through Rodney King's eyes. And this man is brilliant, man. This man is an OG in the solo performance game. I was blessed to meet him a few years ago, and I sat down with him, before I went on tour. And I asked him, I was like, how can I improve? What do I need to do to get better? And he looked at me and he said, earn your syllables, young man. Earn your syllables, because what's the point of me having a bunch of words if I'm throwing half of them away? You know what I mean? What's the point of it being it sounds nice, right? But it ain't. Where's the message? Where's the content? And at the end of the day, another big homie just told me recently too, is you have to make it about the story. It's the story, it's the narrative that you're weaving, it's what you're having your audience connect to. And then going back to the very beginning, it's I learned how to format and do what I do by studying Shakespeare. You know what I mean? Like Willie Shakes, yo.
Willie Shakes.
Willie Shakes.
Hey, shout out Willie Shakes,
guy. Shout out to Willie Shakes, my man. He taught me the emphasis of the story versus the rhyme, because the rhyme is important. The rhyme is a tool, but you don't build a house by making it about the hammer. You get what I'm saying? Because if all you do, you make it about the hammer, you forget about the saw, you forget about the wrench, you forget about the screwdriver, you forget about the nails and the wood. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one tool. And when I was younger, the emphasis was about rhyming because I'm a lyricist.
Right.
It was all about
and our generation of rap, it's like in the fresh
bars, dog.
West Coast
bars.
Like West Coast style was so informative.
Chopping, dog.
Yeah.
In like early 90s, like we're gonna slam syllables on our shit.
Multi-syllable stacking. Like if you couldn't do a multi, fuck you.
Yeah,
like real.
exactly.
You don't even need to know what bus driver said in like 95. You just need to listen,
right?
Dog. You just need to listen.
Wu-Tang is for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like
for real.
So those were my influences, and then my biggest lyrical influence was Pac, and the way that Pac structured and told stories. So all of that goes to say that, everything is valid because it is my own, but I also have to be mindful that once I birthed it, it's no longer mine. You know what I mean? And it belongs to the masses and it belongs out there. And so all I can do is create a content, and then people will either feel it and they won't.
Yeah. And there's like one thing that you do and express a lot in your work is this accountability to something.
Right.
This accountability to the craft, this accountability to myself, to my audience, to my community, this like humble realization that like we all just getting through it. You know what I'm saying? Like we bumping through it all the same, all the time.
Yeah, there's like impeccable like sympathy and empathy that you have. Like you write these characters in a lot of your pieces. Like all your pieces are narrative to some degree, and you have like an amazing way of like inhabiting those characters and perspectives
and humanizing
exactly
them, and making them like real and fleshed out, making people remember that like that guy you see is someone's son or someone's grandpa, or you know what I'm saying?
Like seeing like the humanity of these people really comes across in your work.
Hey,
thank you, man. Fully appreciate that shit.
Thank you.
Doing it.
I appreciate the people, they gave me the opportunity to look into their eyes. You know what I mean? Word. Like I always teach my daughters, like if you don't make eye contact with them, they're not real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's like something that like a lot of homeless, like they really struggle with, where like a lot of people in LA, like there's a big homeless situation out here because our weather is consistent. So a lot of homeless people, migrate out here. But the thing is that upsets a lot of homeless people is that like people just pass them, like they're not there, they
don't exist.
So like the least you can do is just say what's up.
Acknowledge.
The least
Acknowledge
you could
them.
do, dog.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Yeah.
Or write some fire bars and let the world know. You know what I'm saying? Doing it.
And spin them in an MTA, bus lines. Like, showtime. About to give you these bars, guys.
Hey, let's go. Let's go.
Site specific.
Hell yeah.
Well, moving on off of Threads and Lines into the next part of the show.
The two-piece combo.
Two-piece combo!
The two-piece combo is a segment of the show where we review and score two pieces of poetry, one off of YouTube and one off of Instagram. On this special Pen Clique episode, presented to you by Word Spoken, we got Baltimore poet Meccamorphosis from episode 13. She's a young poet who's making big waves in the slam circuit and online, so let us know if you agree with our scores by reaching out to us on Instagram or Facebook at Pen Clique, PENCLIQUE. Alright, now on to the two-piece combo. Today's YouTube piece comes from Button Poetry's channel with Janae Johnson, White Girl Roasting.
Ooh, let's go, Janae.
Yeah.
Let's go.
To the white girl who wants you to know that she too uses cocoa butter.
Shut up, bro.
Yes. Co-washes her hair. Duddy whines to every song.
Hey, come on. And like, okay, so she has already effectively set up the fucking rest of this poem. To the white girl who wants you to know. Boom, we're in. We know exactly where the fuck we are. We know exactly what this poem's about. Like, let's go. Pen game strong.
I like how it's
strong.
It's like each one is like leveling up into that.
Yeah. And it's fun. Like, one of my favorite things about like poetry and spoken word specifically is when there's not abstraction, but it's going somewhere. And you're like, oh, I know where this is going. Yeah. And we're just going to keep going there.
It's already embedded in me to already know what's going on here. I'm like,
let's go.
I'm already tired.
Because the word.
Yeah. Co-washes her hair. Duddy whines to every song. The kind of girl that could afford to trespass at 2 a.m.
Ooh, and there it is.
Jump fences without turning her neck. Wink at policemen. Throw
jump fences without turning her neck, like such a experiential writing shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
so much is said in that one line.
Yeah, bro.
That's like masterful writing there. That's,
word.
Yeah, that's like, you know, just being able to say everything that is unsaid. Because I'm already tired. Like, I'm already like, okay. I'm like, yup, you're right.
Word.
Let's get it.
Afford to trespass at 2 a.m. Jump fences without turning her neck. Wink at policemen, throw red Solo cups from the balcony and blame it on how quick the brandy slithered through her pores. Girl who shuns the addict, injects the meth for the adventure in the road trip retellings, slathers Aunt Jemima syrup on her compliments. Oh, sweet accessibility. Oh, black ex-lover. Oh, coerced
I love
invitation.
like her accent change in there and how it's like projecting like a certain vibe to those words.
Oh, sweet accessibility.
Yeah.
Ooh, like she turns into the person that she's like, you know what I'm saying? It's accessibility of privilege and accessibility of the syrup and
it's like
the culture. Like that's what we see. Like these
triple
white
entendre
people.
flow. We see you, Janae Johnson. Let's go.
I kind of want to go back to the line that when she winks at the police officer. I remember one time walking around police officers, walking to the subway, and then they started barking at me and growling. So
what?
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. So it was like, the fact that she can wink, like white women can do that and then probably be okay with that type of behavior because they know nothing gonna happen to them, or I don't know. Like,
word.
Injects the meth for the adventure in the road trip retellings. Slathers Aunt Jemima syrup on her compliments. Oh, sweet accessibility. Oh, black ex-lover. Oh, coerced invitation to the cookout. Watch the room swoon over how much Kardashian she got in her. Daydreaming of cornrows, fingers for coiling phone cords, snake neck to Tupac, Britney, bitch, forever, girl.
We gotta run that back. Yeah, because she starts with like that little hit, coerced invitation to the cookout. Oh yeah. And then it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it now. Let's really do it.
Like, this is a good example of how of good word swag.
Yeah, word
swag. I like that.
It's because like sometimes we OD on word swag and now it's all just like multis and alliteration and like you get lost in it. But if you just sprinkle it in there, it's like, it can be used to great efficacy.
And I almost feel like this is you can compartmentalize this poem and read it like in different pieces and like it would be still just as effective. You know what I'm saying? True. Each piece of this poem, each stanza of this piece is effective as in the same way that the pieces as a whole.
Room swoon over how much Kardashian she got in her. Daydreaming of cornrows, fingers for coiling phone cords, snake neck to Tupac, Britney, bitch, forever, girl of half Spanish from boarding school. Learn to roll crisp blunts at boarding school. Makeshift champion of spades tournament. At boarding school, aphrodisiac eyelashes, painted lips, glitter make her less pale at noon, think herself Beyonce ratchet. Lemonade be the greatest album ever. After Bridget Jones' diary, mouth on wine bottle.
Bridget Jones, though.
Feet on good couch.
I still stand by that statement.
Selfie connoisseur of Jello shots, got that middle of the dance floor confidence. How tough exterior could fill up an entire VIP
I don't want
booth.
to miss that point culturally. Feet on good couch. You know what I'm saying? Like, God damn, if that wasn't some shit getting hit for having your feet on the couch.
Yeah, especially with your shoes on. Don't do that.
Yeah, word. You shouldn't have your shoes on inside anyways. What the fuck? About to get hit.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we missing it.
Bottle. Feet on good couch. Frizz bun selfie connoisseur of Jello shots, got that middle of the dance floor confidence. How tough exterior could fill up an entire VIP booth. Girl of too many choices.
Not a wasted word.
No,
spicy
really.
Curry or Jergens. Brown rice or rompers. Wants to know if she is too beautiful for this room.
Oh no, yeah, we're gonna run this back. Let's run it back. Like a minute.
Whoa, that's all the way
Chris
back.
Blunts at boarding school. Makeshift champion of spades tournament. At boarding school, aphrodisiac eyelashes, painted lips, glitter make her less pale at noon, think herself Beyonce ratchet. Lemonade be the greatest album ever. After Bridget Jones' diary, mouth on wine bottle. Feet on good couch. Frizz bun selfie connoisseur of Jello shots, got that middle of the dance floor confidence. How tough exterior could fill up an entire VIP booth. Girl of too many choices. Spicy curry or Jergens. Brown rice or rompers. Wants to know if she is too beautiful for this room. If she should first album Kesha the shit out of this moment, roll up to the spot with her brown homies and a drop top girl who asked me why I listen to old old music? Why I ain't join her in these remixes of songs that I was raised to?
That's so annoying.
Heard of hair swinging.
That's so annoying. Like when white people be like, "Oh my God, you don't know about this?" It's like, what do you mean? I know about it. I'm just not. I already lived it. I'm already here. I'm already black. I don't need to be as shocked or surprised. That's why I was like, I always wanted to write about like how when white people see things or like hear stories like this and they start gasping and shit like that. I'm just yeah. Like, yeah, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
Spots with her brown homies and a drop top girl who asked me why I listen to old music. Why I ain't join her in these remixes of songs that I was raised to. Heard of hair swinging to 808 fade, rave, raw for the Insta, tip drill fantasy, spectacle of bland chaos, sycamore tree jaw, Pepto-Bismol tears, stubborn and pink palm. Girls say she grew up on Ashanti instead of Aretha. Don't know Lena, don't know Eartha, don't know Butterfly, don't know Ruby, don't know Betty Boop was supposed to be a black woman, don't know me. If she did, she know my daddy been waiting on the day I snatch a figurative weave out of a Pantene Pro V scalp. Did you know that I only get my comeback insults from BET commercials and Comic View? I'm judging you. I'm judging your selection of mac and cheese. You slick sauce, thin and congealed. Your form mama stole that recipe from a wise man that didn't know shit but a Friends episode in a strobe light. You small-lipped, you sharp-chinned, eating all the cornbread, smoking all the ganja out the creases of your nose. You smolder of sunlight. Kelly Clarkson, meet Lena Dunham, you accidentally exotic.
Now that's an insult.
You majestically pale.
That's the biggest
Smoking
insult.
all the ganja out the creases of your nose, you smolder of sunlight. Kelly Clarkson, meet Lena Dunham, you accidentally exotic.
Accidentally
You
exotic.
majestically pale. You ghost who call yourself Moonlight, steal my pen.
Oh my God, bro, she's like doing like, holy shit, let's go. She's doing like these beautifully poetic things and then these super simple to understand concepts. Like, damn, I'm gonna hit you with some fire pen shit and then I'm gonna give you let me spoon feed it to you. Let me spoon, and then now think about shit, and then let me spoon feed it, and then while you're thinking about that shit,
this is masterfully done.
Holy shit!
This is masterful.
We almost there. We almost there.
Sunlight. Kelly Clarkson, meet Lena Dunham, you accidentally exotic.
That's so fun.
You majestically pale. You ghost who call yourself Moonlight, steal my pen. My first bite, my first name. If I let you. You forgetful tongue, don't know the taste of your own blood, so you choose to lick our wounds.
That just drops it there.
Right, like that's what white women crave. That's what white women want. They feast off of other people's pain and like their friends' pain. They're like, that's why it's like in the one line where I'm like talking about like white people, white friends, they want your blackness. They don't want to be black. They want to be black through you. They want to be black vicariously. And it's like, they're like, damn, man, yeah, I understand everything you're going through, all this other stuff. And all.
But do you? But do you understand any of it?
Not only is like, do you understand? It's like, so I don't know. It's just I have no patience for white folk. I just don't. I don't want to hear the pity. I just want to see the work. If you do the work, I don't care. But if live that life somewhere else. Just not in my circle.
Yeah, word. Oh, so effective too.
So good.
God damn.
So part of the two-piece combo is we give every piece that we watch a review score out of 10 as if we're judging in the slam. And Miss Meccamorphosis, if you were in the crowd
right now, you just saw that.
Just saw that.
I mean,
the DJ's playing a song while the judges get their scores together.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I would give it. Let's see. There's two different ways to do this.
Okay, here we go.
There's two different ways
Let's
to do
go.
this.
Let's go. Science.
If I would give it a high nines. If it was like, still the slam was still going and stuff like that. Like 9.7, 9.8, right? Round one for sure. If they just chose me from the audience or whatever, it's just like, yo, that's a 10. Like just me being a black girl, that's a 10. Yeah. I love the ending. I have a love-hate relationship with the ending. Like, yeah, it's just drop the mic, but it was drop the mic. It was like kind of like, whoa, wait, okay. And then like, yeah, but it was like, oh, I wanted that, that instead of like, okay.
That got him.
So it was like, yeah, but no, like 10 for sure. That was such a good piece, and I love that piece.
For sure.
That's a 10.
It's a 10, like, for sure.
Let's go.
I think I feel like it's masterful. It's masterful.
Word.
Like, what?
Hey.
Ghost pretending it's moonlight. Like, what?
Oh, God. Ghost.
Fire.
Oh, my God. smoldering sun. Like
Mr. Daniel Hees.
I disagree with you as far as the ending. I really like the ending. Because I feel like what we're doing is like she starts the poem with this like subtle annoyance, like, oh yeah, you use cocoa butter? Great. Why the fuck are you telling me? Like, who the fuck cares? You know what I'm saying? The little annoyance to, at the end, this full-blown fucking like big, boisterous, frustrated, like she's roaring at the end of this fucking piece. Like she is saying something loud. And I feel like the build-up to that, I feel like makes me forgive the drop-off. Because it's like, oh, they're building and the build-up's the point. And now, like, she's really, like, giving it to it. And she's left the audience with, like, this hit. Like, this is what I fucking feel like. And you're like, oh, damn. That's what that dumb shit makes her feel like.
It's definitely much better than any, like, the usual drop-off that people do. Because, like, I mean, you can't drop off the poem the same way other people drop off a poem so much. Like, I see that a lot. And it's like, they do the pause and then they do the last word. And I'm just like, nah, just.
That landing's definitely a preference.
That's not a drop. That's not a drop-off. But, like, since I'm so big on performance, like, yeah, do the drop-off, but do drop-off mass, like, you know, in a way. Like, I like performance. I love performance. I love the performance aspects of everything. So it's like, yeah, that's the only thing that I'm ever, like, super, like,
yeah, word. And you gave it a 10.
And that's,
right.
But yeah, I really like that because I really do like the pace of this changes. The depth of it changes. Like, she goes from, like, this very understandable... relatable thing, almost like a hook, I feel like, to the white folks listening to this. Like, here you go, here's the little piece, you know what I'm saying? And then come with me and you're gonna really, you want to learn some shit, you know what I'm saying? This is real shit. Like, white allies, you want to learn something about yourself? Like, watch this shit and like watch this with like a quiet mouth and an open heart because that's the point of this kind of work. So
like,
and Janae Johnson, the god, everything she does is like super fucking dope, super interesting, like pen game out the fucking world, bro.
Yeah, that's like that's a pen game you can only dream to have. Like, that shit's so good.
Or work to, because I see
it's even like just as I listen to the text, like, oh, this would read well.
Fuck yeah, this would read better than like even this. Like, if I had both, like this.
Oh my god, I would love to read this.
Whenever you miss the fire and you're left like again, like whoa.
That's always super impressive when like a page poem translates as a stage poem. That's because it's not always the case.
Right. No, yeah. Like, my mentor, she definitely works at like how to present stage poetry into page poetry, and like, you know, she's working on like how to create the performance aspect in the page, and I thought that was really dope. I can't wait to see like the stuff that she comes up with.
Yeah, that is.
So you said 9. So
no. If I saw this round 1 at a slam, she getting a 10. Like, outgate, off rip, you getting a 10. Because I want to see more of this. I want to see wherever this is going. Because if you gave me those little hits right now, like, shit, do you have a piece that's all just word swag? And that's what's dope. Is like, sometimes you hear word swag and you're like, oh, you're just saying shit. But sometimes you hear word swag and you're like, god damn, like, you were fucking saying real shit.
I would need the balance. I would need the balance between the word swag and the other stuff. Like, this is I don't like, sometimes I get it, it's dope to have that element and, you know, like, to use it, but if it's all that's there, sometimes it's distracting.
It can be, yeah. But she balances it well. She's doing it perfectly.
That was,
I'm gonna say round 1 10. I'm gonna say round 3 10. Like, this is a fucking 10, dog. This is, if I saw this, impactful.
This hits a lot of like what I like in poetry, and like she got wordplay. She has like great performance. The text is really concise and clear. Like, you get it like off rip. There's nothing that really goes over your head unless you just don't catch the reference. But even then, she'll still do the service of spoon feeding and like thematically, it's great. The metaphor that carries through the narrative, great. There
is a narrative, which is dope.
Right. My one thing is that like she does what we call like punches and bunches.
Okay, yeah.
Where like instead of letting like a haymaker breathe, it's just like back to back to back. That can be daunting for some people. Like for some listeners, that could like exhaust them.
Or the uninitiated,
right? Or the uninitiated, right? So that can.
If he dies, he dies.
Right. So that could definitely like exhaust some people. Yeah. But for me, like, that just hit all the notes for me. Yeah, that's a 10.
That's a 10.
Shout out Janae Johnson
from the Clique.
I don't care. I'm salty. I ain't getting 30. I'm salty.
You'll get your 30, Mecca.
I'm soft.
You'll get it. Don't worry. We see
because
you.
of Janae, but I'm just soft.
We love you. Don't worry.
Shout out Mecca and Janae Johnson. Now on to the second part of the two-piece combo where we review the first thing we find on Instagram under #poetry. To help us sort out this #poetry debate, we got Pomona Poet Laureate and Lion Like Art Community founder, David Oliver, aka Judah 1 from episode 17.
Mr. Judah, could you do us the honor of reading MS's poem?
It reads as thus. Your laugh is the best sound I have ever heard. No period.
DJ Clue Bomb.
All right. So for everybody that don't know, we're going to give it a little critique and review. I'm going to jump off because I got words. This is not a poem, homie.
Facts.
This is not even an attempt at a poem, homie. You could have made a haiku that would have said the same thing and it would have been a poem. You could literally have just said the same thing and like syllabically formatted it and it would have been a poem, but you didn't. You just said some shit that sounded pretty, and that's not poetry, dog. It sounds nice. That's a beautiful fucking thing. If somebody told me that, I would feel so good, but I wouldn't be like, you're a poet. I would be like, don't give me some bait ass line. That's a line. It's a line. It's a cute line. I like it. Let's go. But I don't want to say the show's no promise, but this, how is it, man?
I'm gonna
say a 4. I'm gonna say a 4. I'm just gonna go out and say a 4 because this isn't a poem.
I want us to go
and she hashtagged this a lot. She hashtagged this art,
Facts.
poetry community, poems, love quotes.
Yeah,
this is a love quote.
Yeah, this is a poem for sure in her eyes. But let's go back to the way back machine to an episode with Miss Lady Bosco where there was a 3-word poem.
There was,
and it went thus: "Be you bravely."
Yeah,
and both you guys gave that 10s. And I was the only one.
No.
I was like, There ain't no syllable structure to this. This ain't bars.
Go back.
And today in 2019,
Rewind.
Mr. Hees,
We
sir, go ahead.
We said me and the wonderful.
I pulled the receipts. God, what's good?
Me and Lady B said, and I will quote us as saying this on the rewind. Go check it out. We both said if we were at a slam and first round you went up there and did that, we would both be like, you know what? You're going to get a 10 to go through. But third round, get the fuck out of here.
Facts.
And if Bosia did that, that's a poem forever. That's a poem forever. That is what we said. We both said,
okay,
we could see Bosia doing that and turning that into a poem.
And it was an Instagram poem too. So what makes this different?
What makes it different is I could go on stage and I could comfortably, as a poet and performer, go on stage and know that I could do something with Be You Bravely.
Okay.
I know I could either with performance, inflection, I could repeat it enough to where, you know what I'm saying? I could turn that into something. There's nothing to turn this into. This sounds like a line.
That's not true because this is a whole sentence here. Your laugh is the best sound I ever heard, girl. You my whole world,
it's girl. Still just a line, though. It doesn't incite anything.
As opposed to 3 words?
Line upon line.
I feel you. But what I'm saying, Be You Bravely incite something. That is going to inspire you to, what does bravery mean to you? What does being you mean to you? What do those things together mean to you? This is just your laugh is nice. I like you. This is just, I like you. Ooh, I'm trying to get that. That's all this is, dog. That's all this is. So I stand by that, Lady B. I know you would too. Power to the people.
If this were
bravely, 4 points.
Were the last
4 points, homie.
If this were the last word, the last sentence of a full poem, it work out.
Hey, yeah, word.
As is
just a sentence.
This is a dope end to a love poem.
It's just a sentence.
Yeah.
All right, so
every sentence is not poetry, but every sentence can be poetry.
Rate it out of 10. Out of 10.
I mean, how do I rate a sentence? I mean,
hey yo,
your laugh is the best sound I've ever heard. That's cool. 4. All right, 4. That's cool.
4.
Okay.
All right, so here's the thing. All right, guys. It's like
I like the quick response from Judah. 4, 8, dog. That's what it is. So math is real. I'm already doing the math. I already did the math.
You know, in today's political climate, we tend to be so harsh on people who tend to flip flop on opinions. But the thing is that as we grow in life, you know,
out of here, dog.
We all mature, and it is fine to change opinions. Because we come across new information, and as you should, scientists, they update their theories when there's new evidence involved. That being said, Mr. Dan, maybe this is showing some personal growth for you. You know what I'm saying? From 3 words to not giving a fuck about one sentence. I mean, go ahead. But As I said that day, you could go back to that episode where I said, fuck out of here, this is not a poem. I'm still saying, fuck out of here, this is not a poem. This is not even a dope line.
No, it's all right.
If we're talking about prose, this is not even a dope prose line, bro. Your laugh is the best sound I ever heard. Word.
That's a lie too, homie. That's a lie.
Facts.
That's not even true. That can't even be true.
Have you ever heard my niece's laugh?
Have you ever? Word. A baby's laugh.
I farted in the water once. That shit was great.
That's hilarious. Farts are funny. Farts are a better sound than some strange person laughing. I don't give a fuck.
If you have a break laugh, like Lilu from Fifth Element, like ha ha ha.
And really, dog?
Nah.
You ain't never heard Cuban Links? You ain't never heard a Thelonious Monk, dog?
Whoa.
Laugh's the best sound you ever fucking heard, dog?
What else?
Sun Ra.
4. Let's move on. Off of the 2 piece.
I give that a 0.
A 0.
All right.
That's fair.
2.
All right.
Out of the 2 piece and on to the last part of the show, my favorite part of the show. We're going to watch the guest flex real quick with that 5 for your eye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The 5 for your eye is the final segment of the Pen Clique podcast, and it's a poetry prompt challenge where we give the poet ahead of time 5 words. The poet then makes a poem of any format, any style, as long as they use all 5 words. And for this Swapcast episode, we got rapper, activist, educator, author, and poet Mathew Cuban to close us out.
We got Vault.
Ooh.
Generous.
Yup.
Aroma.
Ooh.
Tantrum.
Wow. Okay.
Tantrum.
I like it. It's zesty.
And appreciate.
Who doesn't like that?
Appreciate. So we gave him 5 words.
Appreciate. So happy. Appreciate.
Yeah. We gave him 5 words. We gave him any. He could do whatever he want, and he said, "I won't freestyle on the show."
Oh shit!
So
shouts
out to the.
Where you gonna be a cappella?
Nah, fuck that. Don't, let me hear the show beat.
Like it's 06, dog.
All right. Off top, noggins get chopped. With that being said, Matt Cuban, you ready to face the 5 for your eye challenge?
Yes.
Hey.
Let's get it.
Okay. Yeah. We got all the words. Everybody knows the words at home. Let's check it. Yo, stop, halt. Take a jump, man. Take a vault, man. It ain't your fault that you got caught, but you locked up with them shoes you should have bought, man. Looking clean, looking real generous, man. Skin tight, looking real venomous. Might break your bone, you ain't having it. Motherfucker looking like a car accident. Man, I see you coming, you a goner. Smelled you coming around the corner, salty aroma. What you wanna do? Don't fuck with me. The freestyle is cool, and you know that it's free. Like, don't cause it, man. Don't charge it. Looking real temper, but you know you can't lost it, man. And I don't even know I'm handsome. Getting crazy, getting angry with my tantrum. What you want, motherfucker? That's and son. Shoot you up, dribble out, that's and one. Motherfucker can't have it. I appreciate you. See you real fast. Motherfuckers wanna stay faded, elevated while I'm coming off the dome, while I'm driving back home, while I'm chilling in my Nissan, gone off the good weed. Man, I wanna chief on, looking like Cheech and Chong. That's my fucking bomb. Yeah. Man, I wanna do it. Cuban meditating, staying deep just like a Buddhist. Out here with the homies, know you wanna do it, cause it's Pen Clique famous, and you know we coming through it like, yeah.
Let's go.
Yup. Thank you for listening to the first ever Pen Clique Poetry Podcast episode mixtape, brought to you by the homies at Word Spoken Podcast. If you enjoyed what you just heard and want to help us on our mission to expose new audiences to poppin' poetry content, be sure to subscribe to Pen Clique, PENCLIQUE, on your favorite podcast platform. And to get hit with the next level poetry content, subscribe to us on YouTube as well.
Big ups to Henry, the word spoken mastermind, for all the work he's putting in for poetry culture. And big ups to you for clicking up with us. Be sure to follow us on IG and Facebook at Pen Clique, and on Twitter at The Pen Clique, and let us know what you think. Thanks again. Write a poem.